Hey guys, welcome back to the Hardware Sense channel, and for today we have another cell phone. I'm super excited to review this one because it's been a while since it released, maybe a couple of months. I think back in April this phone was released. I had my eye on it the moment it came out. I really wanted to grab that phone, but initially the Xiaomi Mi Mix S2 was released in several different versions, and the lower end or the cheaper versions did not have the international bands. Only the 256 gigabyte version, which was the most expensive one, had them. So obviously I wanted to wait a little bit, see what's gonna happen. Xiaomi finally started releasing the global or international version from that phone in versions with 64 and 128 gigabytes. So naturally, I wanted to grab a cheaper version, spend as less amount of money as possible. So this one came out around $470. That's what I paid from GearBest at the time for the 6 gigabyte and 64 gigabyte internal storage version. So without further ado, let's go ahead, open the box, talk about it, do a little comparison with my first generation Xiaomi Mi Mix, and see how it's gonna look. All right, now we have the box of Xiaomi Mi Mix S2. This one I grabbed from GearBest for $470, like I mentioned before. Great price considering the hardware. Snapdragon 845, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of internal storage. A little bit on the low side considering there is no SD card slot, but it is what it is. Again, considering the price, I think it's outstanding deal. Let's go ahead and open the box and talk about it a little bit more. All right, grabbing my trusty little scissors here, I'm gonna pop the plastic on the box, see what's inside. Right off the bat, I can tell you the box looks definitely different than the first generation of the Xiaomi Mi Mix that I have. I consider the first one to actually look a little bit better. Maybe on a first look I'm wrong, but let's see if we can do a little comparison in a second later. So this is the box on top. We have a golden Xiaomi logo here, and on the back side right here we have some more information. Currently I grabbed the Mi Mix S2 2S in the white version. Why did I grab the white? You know, I have plenty of black phones around, so I wanted to a little bit spice it up and have a little bit different phone. Plus, big advantage on the white phones, the fingerprints are not that visible. So luckily that's gonna help a lot. As you can see here, global version. Everything is in English, says what's inside the box. We have the Mi Mix S2S adapter, USB Type-C cable. We have a hard case. We have 3.5 millimeter to Type-C headphone adapter. Not too happy about that, but it is what it is. We're not gonna beat the dead horse. And we have the SIM ejector tool, obviously with some paperwork, some user guide, and so on and so forth. All right, let's go ahead and open the box. Right off the bat, seems a lot lighter than the previous one. When I open it, actually pretty good quality, I have to say. We have a little letter here on top from the president of Xiaomi. Feel free to pause and read. Really nice touch. They've been including these on all the previous versions as well. And right on the top, we have the Mi Mix 2S sitting. We're gonna take that and leave it to the side for a second to see what else is inside. Being the global / international version, we have the European style charger, if I manage to pull it out somehow. And yeah, we're gonna have to use adapters if you buy this phone and you want to use it in the States. Luckily GearBest and the other sellers over the internet provide you the adapter, very easy. Let's see what's the information on the side of the adapter here. It supplies 5 volts 2.5 amps, or 9 volts 2 amps, or 12 volts 1.5 amps. And as you can see, the logo, this is quick charge 3. But again, as mentioned many times before, I'm not going to use any of that stuff because I plug directly to the wall and one of those USB adapters that are ready to plug in. And another thing coming in, obviously we have the USB Type-C cable. Nothing unusual. On the other side, alongside with this paperwork, obviously, as you can see here, we have the logos. Let's open it up and see what else is included. And it's on one side we have the mentioned adapter, USB Type-C to 3.5mm headphone jack. Just to sneak this comment here, I really hate that trend with removing the headphone jack, but we know how it is these days. SIM ejector tool here, and on the other side we have a white case. Let me pull it out of this plastic and just give it a real feel. It's kind of a matte feel on it, a little bit rubberized. It's not rubber, it's definitely plastic. And we have Mi Mix designed by Xiaomi. We're gonna see how this case fits and how it feels. But definitely I can tell you right off the bat that the case provided on the original Mi Mix was far, far better than this one. And I feel like Xiaomi are going down on quality when it comes to these new generations. But let's compare it in a second. So what else we have inside the box? We have a quick start guide. Again, everything is in English. Luckily for all the international buyers, you can go ahead and read through it. A lot of useful information and some graphics on how the phone looks like and where the different trays and buttons are. Very self-explanatory. If you ever used any phone, you're good to go. So let me go to the phone now. All right, now that we have the actual phone, let's pull it out of this little cradle and see what it's on it. As you can see, everything is in English. Being international version, that's one of the best things. Actually, right off the bat, I can tell you it feels pretty heavy and kind of solid in hand. Same exact feeling I had with the original Mi Mix, which was absolutely outstanding. And in the back, we have the fingerprint sensor, some more graphics here on the sticker. We're gonna peel that off, obviously, in a second. And we have a sticker over the cameras. NFC is included, and for the first time, Xiaomi are making a wireless charging on the phone, which I really appreciate. And while I'm powering it on and taking this sticker off, let's talk about the negatives. So compared to my original Mi Mix, what are the things that I don't like? First of all, much smaller screen. We have 6 or almost 6, 5.99 inches on the Mi Mix 2S versus 6.46 on the original Mi Mix. Also, we have far less storage. My original Mi Mix has 256 gigabytes of internal storage. This one has only 64. Obviously, being a brand new model with all the latest hardware, it's going to be a lot more expensive to get the most upgraded model with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of internal storage. But again, my old one, almost 2 years old, beats it on that part. And another one to mention is the lack of headphone jack. 3.5mm headphone jack, it's pretty much essential for me. And having it on the original Mi Mix helps me a lot. It's absolutely great. Can't complain about it. Delivers incredible sound. Unfortunately, Xiaomi went to the route to start copying Apple. So we know how that goes. Metal buttons on the side, metal frame, and only the back is ceramic, where we have the original Xiaomi Mi Mix was entirely made of ceramic. Very luxurious, very well put together. So I kind of feel like Xiaomi are going down a little bit on the quality when it comes to these devices. Let's power it on and see what is going to come up. I'm sure that there will be plenty of updates coming into this one. I know Xiaomi are pretty adamant lately to update their flagships. Even my original Xiaomi Mi Mix that is sitting right there, well, actually sitting right here, received plenty of updates recently. So that is a great thing to see from Xiaomi. And we have MIUI 9. As you can see, real quick before we go to the all settings, let's real quickly look at the size comparison. You can see how much smaller the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2S is compared to the original Mi Mix. If we can put them right on top of each other, you will see the big difference in the width and the height and the size of the display. So that's one of the things that I really dislike, because I am in love with this giant display on the original Mi Mix. I think if you're a heavy media consumer as I am, this one will definitely be better for you. Obviously, the advantages of this phone is the addition of the wireless charging now, and the latest hardware from Snapdragon 845, which is a complete beast and far more powerful than the 821 on the original Mi Mix. All right, let's get going with the software. Without further ado, let's zoom in here on the languages. We have all kinds of languages, pretty much every language that is supported by Google and by the OS is included here, so you're going to be covered no matter what. I'm going to select my current one, English, United States. Let's go forward, and so let's select again the United States with the list of a lot of countries here. All right, selecting the United States, now we can move forward, connecting to a network. Catches all my networks right away. As you can see, my Xiaomi router networks as well. We're going to connect to the 5 gigahertz one. Let me plug in the password real quick and we'll be right back. All right, we're now connected to the network. Terms and conditions, okay, I give the right. Let's move on. We're continuing with the setup. One tiny negative, if I mention it, like it's literally a nitpicking from my side, is if you choose to buy the white version of it, you're gonna be able to see this tiny little black line where the display ends and kind of bonds with the rest of the frame. When you have the black version, obviously you're not gonna be able to see that, so it creates a little bit more full screen to body experience. But you know, that's just a little tiny gripe on my side. Insert SIM card, okay, I don't want to insert SIM card right now. Copy your data or set as new. All right, I'm gonna choose not to restore settings from another phone. Backup Google, okay, great. We're gonna do all these things. Agree, Google Assistant, next. Pretty straightforward. The setup for the Google Assistant is done. We're gonna move forward, all is set, finishing touches. Cloud permissions, okay, we're gonna allow all that stuff. Go ahead to sync, and now we're gonna add my Mi account. Actually, once I set up my Mi Cloud or Mi account, it asked me if I want to restore from any of my previous phones. So I told them to restore from the Mi Mix. So hopefully that's gonna happen after I set up everything else. Let's set up the fingerprint. Okay, fingerprint. We're gonna do PIN. Our super duper secure PIN. Remember to lock your screen with the password. Okay, great. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, again. And now we're gonna do the fingerprint. So fingerprint, super fast, super easy. As you can see, 5 times, and we are good to go. Okay, and then we're gonna do this one. We're gonna select our home screen. I'm gonna choose the first one. By default, this is the theme, and now we are starting. Setup is complete. We're good to go. All right, while the home screen and the theme is loading finally, we can quick look around. We have the SIM tray on the side. This is the left side of the phone. On the top, we have one microphone for the noise canceling, the 2 antenna lines. And on the bottom, we have the USB Type-C, another microphone, 2 more antenna lines, and the speaker. And on the right side, like I mentioned, we have the power button and the volume rocker. Both of them are made out of metal and very good tactile feel on them. You can hear and see basically the clicking. And we're now into the main theme. Most of you are familiar with how MIUI looks like. As you can see, some of my apps are already starting to download, and it's one of the new things that I kind of like. Not new things, but different things that I like about the MIUI is when the apps are downloaded, they're showing on the screen, but you will see how they're getting their full color once they're fully downloaded. And obviously all the other apps that I have on my original Mi Mix will be downloaded now from the backup installed here. Pretty much the same as all the other MIUI versions. Hopefully, well, actually today I read that Mi Mix, the original one, Mi Mix 2, and a whole bunch of other phones will be receiving MIUI 10 at the end of July. So hopefully we're gonna be able to see that, and it will be based on the latest Android 8.1. This one is based on Android 8. Let's go to the settings real quick and take a look. So if we go to the settings about the phone, right off the bat, we're gonna see Android 8 right here. We're gonna see the latest security patch that this specific ROM has is from April 1st, based on MIUI 9.5. Snapdragon 845 on 2.8 gigahertz, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of internal storage, from which we have 54.23 available. I'm gonna go ahead and install Antutu, run the tests so we can compare it right away before the other apps start running and slow down the phone. This way we're gonna have more accurate results compared to the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus that I have. This way we're gonna see both chipsets, how they perform on those different manufacturers, and we're gonna look at some of the results in the old phones as well. But before we move to the installation of Antutu, I will show you right away. There's a new update that just came up. It was available when I turned it on. This is going to be the 9.5 19.0 stable. A lot of fixes for the Bluetooth and a whole bunch of other things. So I'm glad that Xiaomi are continuing to push a lot of updates for their phones constantly. That's going to definitely make the experience a lot better for all the consumers. So let me go ahead and install that and I'll be right back. Alright, so let's look at those Antutu results from now real quick. So first I'm going to show you the results that the Galaxy S9 Plus achieved when it was fresh. Both results on the Galaxy S9 Plus and the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2S were performed while the phones were fresh, and what I consider by fresh is without launching any of the other apps before that, fresh out of the box. First thing, installing Antutu and running it so we can see what exactly results we have. So look at the ones coming from the Snapdragon 845 on the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. We have 266,245. This is the highest score, and at the time when that was run, as you can see, the Samsung was the #1 on the Antutu list. You know, obviously from that time a lot more phones came out, so that score moved down significantly, so you're gonna see that in a moment. So if we're shifting now to the results from the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2S, you can see we have 267,171, so about 1,000 points more than what the Snapdragon on the Samsung S9 Plus achieved, and the Snapdragon 845 is obviously the same chipset here, but whatever optimizations Xiaomi ran gave them a little bit slight advantage, 1,000 points. But again, good enough to place it on the 4th position here. As you can see, right in front of it is the Mi 8 with a small advantage and a lot bigger advantage from OnePlus 6 and the Mi Black Shark. You know, those results obviously we can question a little bit, especially the OnePlus 6, but anyway, maybe they have some outstanding cooling, who knows. And the Samsung dropped to the 6th place. But again, these are very close to each other, and the one that is recorded here, it's less than what my phone achieved. Obviously, as you can see, 264,399 versus 266,000, so they'll be a little bit up. So again, top 5 at the moment, still very fast, still very relevant, so no stutters, no slowdowns whatsoever. This is the result on the Mi Mix 2S. All right, now that we've done the Antutu benchmark and we've seen the actual results, definitely a great performer. Obviously, same looking UI as all the other devices. What else we can talk about it? Let's quickly compare it to the original Mi Mix, some of the things that I mentioned. Obviously, you know, being a top-of-the-notch hardware, it's extremely fast. All the animations are very smooth. It transitions incredibly smooth across all the menus. Look how fast the unlocking is happening, less than a second for your fingerprint to unlock, and we have this live wallpaper underneath from Xiaomi. Let's put this to the side and just for a second allow me to bring the box from the original Mi Mix. As you can see, this is the difference. We have 256 gigabytes on the original one, and if we open it to reveal the actual content, I think it was a lot more luxurious in that way. And then it flipped open. On the top we had the phone before. If we remove that section, you will see some of the other content kind of unfolded this way. And here is our mentioned case. I mean, this is let me see if we can get closer. We have the faux leather with mix encryption here, inscription, and we have the suede underneath, much more luxurious. I think Xiaomi should have stuck to this kind of a presentation, this kind of package, because this was definitely a lot better looking and a lot more attractive than what we have now with the new one. But again, I'm sure that they're trying to save money. I would have appreciated to get that phone for the same price for the 256 gigabytes, but it is what it is. Back on this one. So to recap before going of this lengthy unboxing and overview, I have to say the phone definitely deserves its money. For less than $500, I think you'll have a hard time finding anything better than this. Actually, I can't think of anything better than this for less than $500. You have a lot of new features, including wireless charging. We have the latest Snapdragon 845 with 6 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of internal storage. We have NFC. Unfortunately, some negatives as well. Smaller screen than the original one. No 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. This again, the build quality is not as great as this one. This is completely done in ceramics. This only the back is ceramic, and we have the metallic sides. Now we have a slide over here, a little opening for the actual speaker that you can listen to the conversations. The original one was a little bit more attractive in my mind, having that piezoelectric earpiece that is nowhere visible. It was completely full framed, and you know, side by side again you can see how big of a difference in the sizes. For people that consume a lot of media, that's a lot better. And obviously we have that 3.5 millimeter headphone jack that I keep mentioning. But yeah, is it worth the upgrade? To be honest with you, if you have this phone and if camera is not the most essential thing that you're looking for into a phone, stay with it. Definitely incredible phone. But if pictures are essential, you like to take a lot of photos, and this is definitely worth the upgrade, because the camera is a lot more better than the original one. We have two cameras. One is telephoto, kind of 2x zoom. The other one is 1.4 microns Sony IMX363 sensor. A lot faster. We have optical image stabilizer. We have electronics image stabilizer. Unfortunately, with the original one, the camera was the worst part. But again, if you're not a heavy camera user, this is still a great phone. Stay with it. If you're relying to take a lot of pictures, obviously the new one is a lot better, and it's gonna continue to get better and better with all the updates. Quickly before I go, let's see how the wireless charging actually works, and if it works correctly. I'm gonna bring my wireless charger here in the front. We'll place the phone over it and we'll see if it's functioning. Oh, there we go. We got the animation. Wireless charging is functioning. So that's a great thing. Why do I love wireless charging? I have several wireless chargers. One is placed on my desk at my office. Very easy, convenient. Just put your phone on. If you need to pick it up, put it back on, no problem. Another thing I mentioned in the previous videos, the more you plug the cable in the port, the more this port will get worn off over the time. It's going to get loose with the cable, and eventually it might actually break. So less cable plug-in, better in my mind. So that's pretty much it. Again, goodbye. Till next time, guys. You have a wonderful day.